When Alina entered university, she only dreamed of studying, earning a scholarship, and living a quiet life in the dorms. Love wasn't part of the plan, but life loves rewriting our scripts when we least expect it. Illia showed up unexpectedly on the first lecture she hadn't even planned to attend. He was late, walked in with a backpack slung over his shoulder and a smile that broke through any seriousness. He sat behind her and was whispering silly comments within 15 minutes. She pretended to ignore him, but secretly smiled inside. They became friends quickly. Late-night walks through Kyiv, coffee from a thermos on the university rooftop, inside jokes only they understood. Then came the movie-worthy moments, a first kiss in the rain, goodnight texts, jealousy, and summer plans. It felt perfect, beautiful. But happiness in your 20s can sometimes be a fragile illusion. After their second year, Illia left for an internship in Germany. It was the first time they were apart far and long. They promised to talk every day, but the conversations grew shorter. Long video calls became short texts, then silence for a day, then two. She's just adjusting to a different rhythm. Alina told her friends, "He's getting used to life without you," whispered a voice inside. When Illia returned, they were still officially a couple. But something had shifted. Their hugs were shorter, their eye contact more careful. "You've changed," she said one afternoon in a cafe told the copyright. "I don't know who I am right now," he admitted, "but I still love you." Just a broken bar, not the same way. They tried to hold on a few more months, but something inside them cracked every time they touched. And finally, one evening on the rooftop where they once held hands, they decided to end it. No drama, no screaming, just a broken bar letting go. The first few weeks after the breakup were brutal. She woke up thinking, "How is he?" He scrolled through her profile, resisting the urge to text. They couldn't be together, but neither could let go completely. Months passed. They didn't see each other. They didn't talk. But on her birthday, at exactly midnight, Illia messaged, "Greater than I know we're not together, but I couldn't not wish you a happy birthday. You're still part of me even if we're walking different paths." Alina didn't reply right away, but in the morning, she sent, "Greater than thank you. I still think of you." Just a broken bar differently now. And so began a new chapter without romance, but with something warm. They started texting again, slowly, rarely, no flirting, just care. Sometimes she sent a picture of her cat with the caption, "Remember how you wanted to steal him for the weekend?" He replied, "Still ready. Saturdays are free." 2 years went by. Alina began dating a guy from work, calm and steady, nothing like Illia. Illia, meanwhile, was freelancing and traveling, now dating a girl from Spain. Their lives became parallel, rarely intersecting. But when Alina's father passed away, the first message she received was from Illia. "Greater than I don't know what to say, but I'm here, always." He came. He stood next to her at the funeral, said nothing, held her hand. And that's when she realized, this was more than friendship. This was presence. Constant, deep, pure. Soon they started seeing each other more often and no reason, just once a month. Coffee, a walk, memories, and interestingly, there was no jealousy, just peace. It was enough to know, you exist, I exist, we exist. But in a new way. They supported each other through everything. She asked Illia for advice before changing jobs. He called her when planning a move to Portugal. And whenever someone asked, "Why are you still talking?" they never had a simple answer. Because it wasn't love anymore, but it wasn't just friendship either. It was something more. Years passed. They both married. They had kids, their own worries, joys, challenges. But once a year, every October, They meet in the same park where it all began. "If we had stayed together," Alina once said, "we might have broken each other." "Maybe," Illia nodded, "but I think we didn't lose the most important thing." "And what's that?" she asked. "Respect, and the ability to still be friends even after everything." She smiled and gently took his hand, not like a woman to a man, but soul to soul, for just a few seconds. "Thank you for staying," she whispered. "Thank you for not pushing me away," he replied. And in that silence, there was more meaning than in 1,000 love stories. Because sometimes the deepest love is the one that outgrows romance, a broken bar, and becomes true friendship. Their yearly October meetings became a quiet ritual. No one knew about Thema, not their spouses, not even close friends. It wasn't the secret of broken bar, just something sacred, like a reminder of the parts of themselves only the other truly understood. They didn't talk much about the past anymore. Instead, they talked about books, their children, their fears, about how fast time moved, about how hard it was to feel present. "I miss how simple everything used to feel," Alina once said as they sat on a bench, leaves falling slowly around them. "It wasn't simple," Illia replied. "We just didn't know yet how complicated life would become." She smiled. "Maybe that's what love really is. Not fire, not chaos, but a broken bar, quiet understanding, showing up." He didn't answer, but the way he looked at her, that silent, steady gaze, said more than words ever could. 10 years passed. Their hair began to gray. Illia's beard grew thicker and white at the chin. Alina had lines at the corners of her eyes, earned by both worry and laughter. They both experienced divorce, quiet ones. No scandals, no lawyers and courtrooms. Just slow unravelings, like threads coming loose from a favorite sweater. Strangely, neither of them told the other right away. He found out from her silence. She found out from his voice. When they finally spoke, it wasn't full of regret. It was a broken bar relief, because deep down, they both knew the only constant had been each other. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we never broke up?" Alina asked once, on a chilly autumn evening. "I used to," Illia said, "but then I realized that we never really did." She tilted her head. "We just stopped being lovers," he said. "But you've been with me through everything, longer than anyone else." That night, they didn't say goodbye after coffee. They walked, quietly, side by side for over an hour. At one point, she slipped her hand into his, not with desire, but with peace, not to claim him, but to acknowledge what was already there. Another decade passed. Now they were grandparents, retired. He moved back to Ukraine after years abroad. She lived alone in a quiet house near the river. Once a week, he brought her groceries. She baked his favorite apple pie. They played cards, laughed at old jokes, talked about everything and nothing. They still met every October in the same park, even when walking became harder, even when memory faltered. And one year, Alina forgot the name of the cafe till the copyright where they always sat. "I don't remember everything," she said, embarrassed. "It's okay," Illia smiled. "I remember enough for both of us." One autumn, Illia arrived with a scarf she once gave him back in university. It was old, faded, but he wore it with pride. "You kept it?" she asked, surprised. "I kept everything that mattered," he said softly. They sat in silence. Finally, she looked at him with tired but glowing eyes. "You know, I loved you more than I ever admitted." "I know," he whispered. "Me too." They didn't kiss, they didn't make grand declarations. They just sat together, in the golden light of evening. Two lives woven together not by passion, but by loyalty, care, and time. Epilogue. One last October. Years later, when Illia passed away peacefully in his sleep, His daughter found a note in his drawer. It wasn't addressed to anyone, but she knew exactly who it was for. Greater than if love is fire, and friendship is a shelter, then we were the flame that turned into a home. Thank you for staying, even when we didn't know what we were becoming. In another life, we might have ended up together. In this only a broken bar we ended up something better. Alina sat on the same bench in the park that October, alone, but not lonely. She wore his scarf and whispered to the wind, "Greater than you never really left."